Presenting to you Green Tea with Zakki, a chit-chat with some of SmartQ's most celebrated people who have explored, evolved and emerged into leaders, influencers and champions in their roles. I am excited to play host with such extraordinary people who have done everything they can to build a name for themselves at SmartQ and also build SmartQ in the process. Stay tuned for Green Tea with Zakki and follow us on this evergreen journey with the extraordinary people of SmartQ. The most important thing to look for when hiring the first employee is that they love the product and believe in the mission. On today's episode, we have with us an individual who deeply loves the product, strongly believes in the mission, and has been an instrumental part in the growth of SmartQ over the past 7 years, both in India and internationally. He is none other than Madhusudhan R, the first employee of SmartQ, who has built incredible relationships to grow both his career and the company forward. In today's episode, we will unravel the growth story of Madhu and learn from him about his journey from being an entrepreneur at BR Tech World to an entrepreneur at SmartQ. Welcome, Madhu, to the 5th episode of Green Tea with Zakki. It's a pleasure and a privilege to have you on this set and really look forward to celebrating you and your journey on the set of Green Tea with Zakki. So welcome to the set and round of applause to Madhu, who has been a great part of SmartQ as the first employee of SmartQ and grown incredibly as well.
Thank you so much, Zakki. It's a wonderful introduction. Thank you so much for that. And before we start, I would say, before maybe 5 or 10 years ago, I never would have imagined that I would be interviewed by someone like this. And I'm privileged to be interviewed, and I'm also proud of being at SmartQ. And thank you so much, Zakki, for
amazing. I really appreciate that. And it's an honor for me as well to interview the first employee of SmartQ, who has been a big part of the growth and seen it through and through, both internationally and in India. So it's going to be a great episode to know his journey, not just in India, but across borders. And on that note, Madhu, we will begin the interview with you on the first segment, which is to know about his journey and growth story. So Madhu, we will begin with the interview. Are you happy and excited to start?
I'm really excited to start with the interview.
Fantastic. So guys, we're all set to go, and here's the first question, Madhu, that we have for you. So most people know you as the first employee of SmartQ, but only a few know you as a person who started his own business at the age of 19 while at college. You ran it successfully and built a customer base. What made you then join SmartQ? Can you tell us about how it all started?
Sure. I was very curious kid, and also I was very, maybe I love to explore things. I love to maybe rip off and get things together, and I love to build things. So that's how I was since beginning, and because of that I started showing love towards computers, and also I started my journey with my friend's company, that is as a freelancer. So I started as a computer service guy, and then quickly I realized that I was whatever I used to earn and whatever I used to get paid, there was a big leap in that, and that's when I realized I need to start my company. I need to start my own, and then I started it slowly. So for first few days I was not having any client, and I was literally worried that how will I even take through, and how will I start my journey as a business owner. So I was literally worried about that, and I slowly started doing some marketing material, and also I started promoting my company. So as soon as I started that, I got a lot of customer base, and also I hired a couple of people in my organization, and then they were incredible, and also they started working with us. So that made me, maybe our business was really running smooth. And then later on I got a partner. One of my friend became a partner, and as soon as once I got the partner, that's when things went wrong. So that's when things went wrong, and I was not so comfortable with the business, and also everything went wrong, and slowly the business started collapsing. And that's the time where I was completely stressed out, and also not I was not having any hope that I would continue the business, and also I had a bad debt at that time because of the business was going down. So that's where I started my journey. I started improving myself, and I started attending some classes, and I also started doing some meditation during that time. So that's how the entire journey of improving myself
Yeah,
started. That, and
beautiful.
I started improving myself, and then there was an opportunity which I got from IU, which is uh, which is a series of conferences which was happening before, and I started attending those conferences. That's when I actually met Krishna sir. So Krishna sir was one of the speaker over there, and I did not directly meet him over there.
Yeah.
It was all he was one of the speaker, and there were almost 11 speakers, and he was one of them. And just things passed on, and later on, after the series of conferences, later I got a call from one of my friend from the conference itself, saying that there is an application product launch. Do you want to be part of that? I was all in for that because I already had a lot of debt, and also I was completely down with my company. So I started. I was all in, and next day morning, I went to the site, and I met Krishna sir and Abhi sir, and that's how I started my journey with SmartQ.
Amazing. So you basically met Krishna. You didn't directly meet Krishna at that conference, but having him at that conference, you got intrigued by what SmartQ is, and then reconnected.
Exactly.
That stuff. That's amazing. Like, you are a founder, and then you go through a journey of ups and downs, and you've been exploring, evolving, and emerging at your own business, and then taking it a notch higher to improve yourself before you set foot on the next journey is fantastic. And it brings me to a saying in college that behind every successful Josephite there's a Carmelite, and here at SmartQ, behind every successful SmartQ hire, there's Krishna in some conference somewhere talking about SmartQ. So that's exactly looks like what happened with Madhu and Bhaskar, the first interview that we did with. He also was at a conference, and you also saw Krishna at a conference. Again, I'm waiting for Krishna to speak about what exactly he said at those conferences so that we could probably use it again somewhere to attract great talent like Madhu. And I don't see your business as a loss that you went through, but rather as a huge, huge gain for both SmartQ and yourself, because of
Correct.
the growth that came after that was exponential. So it's an amazing feat that you've achieved. So great, Madhu. That's a brilliant first answer. Moving on to the second question. So being the first employee of SmartQ, which you're known as, we got through the first part of who you were before SmartQ, but being the first employee of SmartQ, you have closely witnessed the growth of SmartQ over the past 7.5 years. And in many of our conversations, you have referred to SmartQ as your own company. So what has your journey been like so far after that? When you came in here, how did it go?
Exactly. So as you all know, so it's not 7 years, so it's almost 8 years now, and also many of you guys don't know that we had another application called Biryani House application. So that's where I started my journey of being a promoter and performing. So that's where I started the career, like with SmartQ. So when I was promoting, and when I was doing all the work possible at that stage, so I started. Krishna sir and Abhi sir started watching me closely, and
Yeah.
I started interacting with them. So it was. So they felt that uh, I was more enthusiastic, and also I was good for the role. So they told me to extend for a couple of more months
Right.
as an intern. So after that, there was another launch which happened recently. After that, immediately,
Mhm.
which was in Manyata,
Yeah.
in EGL,
Got it.
Bangalore. So I started. That's when Abhishek sir, just before EGL launch, EGL mobilization, he told me that will you be able to join the organization?
Nice.
And because I was already into debt,
Yeah.
it uh, it was it was so amazing for me to accept that offer. But still, it was I took a day off. I took a day
Right.
and I discussed with my parents, and then I told yes for that particular role. That's how I joined SmartQ. And then later on, when I just started off, EGL was the first launch, and later on, no looking back. So it's have I've wore multiple hats in the organization. I have uh, I have played a role of finance. I've played a role of operations guy. I've played a role of uh, I've
Yeah.
played a role of IT admin, and also uh, internationally also I have played my role. And now I'm being proud to say that I'm head of IT infra, and also lead of global implementation and support.
Amazing. And these 7, 8 years, so you had launches first, you were part of all the launches. So you were part of different departments when these were happening, not just limited to IT because that was your forte and that's what you came in as, but you played multiple hats and multiple roles.
Exactly.
Okay.
I played multiple. I was, as I told you, I was not only because I was first employee, and for the first few months there were no one in the
Yeah.
organization. I was me and Abhishek was there at the office, and we used to uh, we used to do all the work possible.
Yeah.
And that's how uh, I was finance guy, and I used to take care of all the financial related work, and also operations, and also IT procurement, IT implementation. So that's how it all started.
Incredible stuff. That just goes on to show how critical it is to get the right first employee who could shoulder the weight of the company and support the co-founders in their mission and make it easy for the company to grow and have us benefit from having larger teams today. So if it wasn't for you shouldering that large responsibility of the company, along obviously with Krishna, Abhishek, and the other people who joined in subsequently in the months to come, it would have been really hard to basically see what SmartQ has come to today. So it's a huge thank you and applause for Madhu for being that first employee who stood his ground, who took the weight on his shoulders and played and wore multiple hats and played multiple roles to make it happen internationally and in India. So great job, Madhu. That's incredible. And we as a company benefit from all the things you took for the team on those days.
Thank you, Zakki.
So we spoke about you coming in and joining and different things you did. But in 2019, interestingly, you started working with Abhishek on building the international side of the business. What were those days like when you had to handle the international side single-handedly and build the product for different geographies?
Yeah. So as I Abhishek is always my guiding light. So he's always been a guide and also a mentor for me since beginning. Since beginning, he was guiding me through how to do, what to do, and how can we manage clients, how can we
Yeah.
improve our product. So he's been a guiding light for me and for many of us, right? So when I started when I started working for international, uh, as I was already having experience with Compass Group
Yeah.
in India.
Right.
So when we started working with Compass India within India, so I understood the business. I understood how Compass operates, and also how the business is for everyone, uh, how the food business is operating. And when I started working with the international business, that's in 2019, uh, maybe in now October or November 2019, we started building an application for New Zealand, which is called as Food for Me.
Mm-hmm.
Food for Me is an application only for New Zealand, which we built. And that application had a new UI, new backend, new front end. Everything, it was very new to that uh, particular country, and I was the one who was handling that particular client, and also I was working in the night shift because they operate from
Got
12
it.
a.m.
Yeah.
Uh, till somewhere around 10 a.m. So I used to work all the day because I used to interact with client side first,
Yeah.
and then I had to interact with our team,
Indian members.
Indian members who was developing the product, and also whenever I need to get some update for the product, so I wanted to interact with them. So it became a routine that almost for 3 months I had to work for 18 to 19 hours daily.
Insane.
That's how. And then I have troubled a lot of our tech folks whenever whenever there was any issues.
Yeah.
I used to trouble them at maybe 4 a.m., 3 a.m. Whenever I used to get any issues, I used to trouble them, and I used to make sure. Abhijit Reddy was one of them, and
Okay.
Swaroop was one of them. So
And they used to take your calls at 4
they
a.m.
used to take my calls. So
Wow, crazy.
that's how the international thing started. Later on, I started interacting with a person called Joan, so who was really amazing in New Zealand. So he was helping me with all the information and back and forth. And then we started mobilizing inside New Zealand, and that's when Gurraj went to New Zealand for the mobilization of one of the universities over there. So that's how the entire journey of international has been for New Zealand. And later on, as you all know,
Yeah.
COVID hit. As soon as the COVID hit, all the business shut.
Yeah.
And then even in New Zealand, the business got shut. And I had to slowly we started interacting with Paul and Claire
Uh-huh.
for the how can we mobilize SmartQ solution in different places. Maybe in 2020 March or April, we interacted with Paul and Claire,
Yeah.
and they came up with an idea of having an application, one application for all the nations, all the countries within Compass Group. And then we started working with them closely, and now we are there in almost 14 different countries. Yeah, that's how it has been.
Amazing. These 14 countries, and you've traveled to a lot of these countries as well and done a lot of cross learning and bringing it back to India and developing it for the international market. So, could you just tell us about, before we end the answer, like which are the countries you visited and what have you brought back to SmartQ?
Yeah. So UK is one of the country, and then Ireland, then Japan, and then I have been to Singapore. Have not been to sites, but I have explored the culture outside. So these are the countries, and whenever I visit, I try to explore what all technologies are there across different countries, and also I would love to bring some of the technologies which are
Yeah.
there in other countries to our organization. There were uh, there were a lot of learnings whenever I went. There were a lot of learnings, and our team have uh, implemented some of these small features. Whenever I go there, we used to get a lot of feedback from unit managers and also different people.
Yeah.
We used to we would have got all the feedback and uh, routed that to our tech team, and they have implemented and got this developed.
Fantastic. I must say huge credits to Abhishek for mentoring Madhu and showing him that the capabilities overseas and not just limiting the belief to an Indian market. And that just shows that from that mentorship and that guidance, we were able to move into 14 different countries, build products for different geographies. Of course, with the front runner of Madhu's abilities to have these calls with global leadership team and the support of other engineers like Guru Raj, who he just mentioned, and the team who came in and supported him throughout this whole episode of taking us internationally, especially when the time wasn't pleasant in terms of COVID and things happening. So it's a salute to you guys to make this happen, because it's not easy to find scope and inroads, especially when the time and the sea is against you. So that's brilliant, Madhu. Congratulations on achieving that, and to the entire SmartQ team who's involved in making this international side happen. So moving on to the fourth question, Madhu. So you started off as an IT administrator, which you just said, and then you played multiple roles, and now you are the head of IT infrastructure and international implementation. Looking back of all these years, what would you say is some of the great work that you've done and you're very proud of? And this is from an individual point of view.
So, in terms of great work, as me, so that's all part of SmartQ. So all credits to SmartQ how for giving opportunities and also uh, yeah. So maybe we built a lot of team. That's what I'm proud of. And whenever I say team, it could be the initial team members who really started off with me was Ashers, and then Pushparaj Faizan, who had slowly moved to other organizations and our parent company, and they have achieved a lot. And then talking about team members of mine, uh, there were, if I look back, there are a lot of things which have happened after COVID. Right?
Yeah,
So slowly, our aggregation business was down because of COVID,
true.
and then we uh, we started. A lot of people started moving out because of COVID, and that's when Shubhayan told us that whoever is the good resource, can you please take them to international business because that business is growing fast. So we took a lot of members from food business to
Internet,
our international
international
business.
sense.
Uh, Vedesh, Vedesh is one of them, and Saidan, and then Ritun. All these people came from a background of food industry, and
Understand.
then they started working with international team. And I'm so proud of that because they are already working with different countries and managing a lot of
Yeah,
clients
yeah.
internationally, because before they were not having such an exposure, and I'm proud of that.
Amazing, fantastic. This just goes back to SmartQ's motto, if I have to say, about explore, evolve, and emerge. When the time didn't look positive for the food aggregation business, SmartQ opened up another avenues where employees could explore another side of the business and stick with the firm and see if they could evolve in that domain. And of course, these people you mentioned have emerged into champions in their roles. So that's a great insight, and that replicates across the firm. And that's a big takeaway for us as well who are watching this, that if you see an opportunity, explore and see if you could evolve in that whole domain and emerge. Of course, you will with the leadership and guidance of leaders like Madhu and the rest. So brings me to the fifth question then, Madhu. Can you mention, since you spoke about different team members and you've worked across teams, can you mention some eventful memories that you've been associated with at SmartQ, maybe at work, maybe outside work, and you could talk about these key relationships that you've built as well in the Indian and international side.
Uh, there are many, Zaki. It's not one or two because uh, it's hard to mention one or two, but still I'll try to
Yeah.
mention those.
Maybe you could start with the eventful memories, which could encompass a larger group of people. And
Sure. One of that was the entire dream of SmartQ. Right? We wanted to build a company which is multinational. We wanted to build. We wanted to see ourselves in a place where we will be country leads and people of ours will be uh, traveling abroad. So,
yeah,
which we are able to see now, and the dream has come true. And also the event which we had recently, which is Rishta, that is one of the important thing which happened within SmartQ, and also we were dreaming of this particular thing from very long time,
yeah,
and it really became true when we just had that, because bringing all the people from different
yeah.
states and almost 450 people, that is one of the eventful memories which I could say.
Amazing.
And then whenever we go out, there is a lot of fun,
Yeah,
as you guys know.
yeah.
So there are a lot of fun activities which we do, and one of it was when we went out. We had a wonderful memory with Samarth. Samarth was our uh, ex-employee, and he was one of our leadership members,
Right.
and we had a great memory with him. Like, whenever he used to be around, he used to have a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of this. And also, when it comes to work, we always uh, we started off with Compass in 2017, and I remember that me, Abhijit, Gurraj, and Abhisar were there on in Shell site. Shell is one of these site,
Right.
first site which we mobilized in 2017, which was the same time, New Year Eve time. So it's like we were there for almost 2.5 days, like continuously to
Yeah.
support that particular site mobilization.
Right.
And also after that, I remember Abhijit was there all night and coding there,
Oh.
and I used to just back of the house. I used to get it implemented.
Crazy.
So these are some of the small eventful memories
True.
which I could say. And
True.
also uh, one more eventful memory was way back in initial days. Manyata was one of the site which we mobilized, and which was a largest, almost 3,000 people could accommodate in that particular site.
Right.
And in that site, internet was a big issue over there. So what we did was we took a rented place, a terrace as a rented place,
Yeah.
and then we took a broadband connection to that terrace, and then we super beamed it from the terrace to Manyata Tech
Wow.
Park, and we provided internet speed of almost 100 Mbps at that time.
Insane.
And also at that time, the internet was so slow.
Yeah.
Not even 3G was working properly inside that building.
Okay.
So that's one of the eventful memories I could bring back.
Nice. And this terrace was some random terrace or some?
No, we bought it for a rent.
Oh, okay.
So only for this particular purpose, we bought this for a. We just got this as a rented place.
Nice. I can bet on this that I'm sure a lot of other eventful things took place on the terrace other than setting up the internet, which obviously will be not applicable for the camera. But as you said, Madhu, we have a lot of fun when we go out. So maybe next time when we all go out, you could talk about the terrace activities.
Gurraj and myself have some photos over there. I could share it with you.
Oh, amazing. So we'll have Guru Raj included in the conversation. And who else was privileged enough to be on the terrace? I'm guessing it would be Bhaskar as well and the likes who joined around that time. Maybe put up a blog called The Terrace with Madhu and Guru Raj's and Bhaskar's photo probably on that. Madhu, it's amazing. All these new things and all these learnings that are coming from you are absolutely treasure for all of us. Which brings me to the last and final question of the first segment, which is, what has been your experience working with the people of SmartQ? And you could talk about the key relationships or some of the close-knit bonds you've made with these people. And in your case, internationally as well.
So I would not say I've been working in this organization, because I always felt that this is my organization, and because I came from the background of my own business and immediately I started off with this. I did not feel that I'm working in this organization. I always felt that it is my organization. That's why I've been privileged to work this way. And then when it comes to people of SmartQ, it's a family. It's a family, and it's a friendship forever.
Yeah.
It's never. All these friends are for permanent. And talking about Gurraj, Bhaskar, and then Nitin, and then Abhijit Sane, Sharan, Swaroop, all these people, they are so amazing. And whenever we come together, we have a lot of fun. We speak about a lot of things. We bitch about a lot of things. So it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing family, I could say. And when it comes to intercompany, so one of the memories I could bring is the relationship with Compass India. So always Compass India has a lot of expectations, and they want to have more. They wanted to have more support from us, and we always provide that good support to all our team. Manish Sharma, we built a very good rapport with him, and then Manish Mamtani, we built a very good rapport with him. Because of that, there are a lot more business which have come to our bucket.
Yeah.
And also internationally, before we move on to international, I would like to talk about a little bit about my business which I was having initially.
Sure, please.
So I used to provide computer servicing, is what I mentioned this before.
True.
So I used to provide a service, and they were so happy about the entire journey and the entire transition. And even now I get some calls from different people that we want some uh, different services, and yeah, so we get a lot of calls from them, and also internationally I made a lot of good friends,
Yeah.
and one of those are Joanna, and then Anthony, Paul, Claire. Then whenever they recently when Paul came over, we had very good eventful memory, right? So,
Yeah.
and also Claire was here,
Yeah.
and we went around. We had a
Gala
wonderful
time. Yeah.
gala time.
True.
So these all are some things which I would say as wonderful relationship which I built.
That's amazing, Madhu. It's not everybody has the opportunity to build relationships across the board, which is not just in the SmartQ office, but internationally as well. And some of the names you mentioned, I saw people in the audience beaming when you said their names. So obviously, I think they echoed the same sentiment. Their reaction said it. And the fact that you spoke about relationships, that's what SmartQ is all about. Relationships that bind us as one strong family, and that's where Rishta as our philosophy plays a big role in keeping these relationships very strong. So congratulations on building these great relationships. And I must say that you as a person are very relationship driven. In every conversation you have, you put your heart and soul and make real relationships, and not relationships that mean on the surface level, but relationships that go in depth. And that's the truth of your personality. So amazing, Madhu. It's truly, truly amazing to have you on the set and celebrate your journey of in SmartQ and taking us across borders, and look forward to your continued success as the years go by. On that note, we end the first segment of Green Tea with Zakki with Madhu. Let's give him a round of applause and celebrate this genuine, wonderful human being who's been the first employee of SmartQ and has a big role to play in our growth story. Continuing my conversation with Madhu, the first employee of SmartQ. Before we begin the second round or the second segment, which is Ask Me Anything, a set of questions curated by the employees of SmartQ, I would like to again thank him for taking your time to be a part of this episode and celebrate with a quick sip of green tea before we move to the next round, so that his nerves are cooled and calmed and I'm ready to begin asking him the questions. So
Zakki.
cheers to Madhu.
Lucky, before we start, let's have an agreement. Let's keep all the difficult questions aside. Only simple questions.
Unfortunately, there are only difficult questions on this, and there are no simple questions, which was curated by Madhu's very close set of friends who he mentioned in the first round and first segment. Let's see how true those friends are in terms of how difficult the questions are. So, the more difficult Madhu finds the questions, the more true and genuine his relationships have been. And by looking at the questions, I believe so. They are quite difficult, and Madhu's going to have a nice twist to offer us. So, Madhu, beginning with the second segment called Ask Me Anything.
Sure.
Yeah? So, Madhu, on this segment, we expect quick, fast, rapid, speedy answers, and you could spend no more than 30 seconds on this.
I'll try to do that.
Yeah. The first question is, what was your most embarrassing moment at SmartQ? Quickly. Time's ticking, quickly.
There was one moment in Shell. I was talking to a person called Ashwini. I was speaking to her, and immediately I was holding a coffee. I spilled on her shoes.
Wow,
So
are you serious?
that was one of the embarrassing.
And Ashwini is part of SmartQ?
No. She was part of Shell.
And from that day onward, Ashwini never returned to work because of that incident. Second question, Madhu. Any funny
She
office...
was client actually.
Oh, client. Okay. And we still had the
imagine.
client after that, right?
Oh yes, we still have it.
Okay, nice. So
Yeah,
maybe
but
the
see,
coffee that he spilled on her shoes, she might have taken it as a sign for an official coffee date, and maybe that could have happened. Any funny office memories you'd like to share with us?
Lot of memories.
The top one that comes to your head.
Always Samarth.
Always Samar. Okay. What is the best advice that you have received and from whom?
Abhishek again. So always I get advice from him. Should I also mention
What the advice is, yeah.
Okay. So build that relationship with everyone. So that's the advice which he gave when I started working with him.
Right.
So I have been continuing that, and that's how I have grown till
Amazing. Abhishek, that advice has paid off and compounded Madhu as a person and our business. So kudos to you. So this is a classic question. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Not sure.
Not sure.
Not sure. But
We're getting some controversy. Please elaborate.
if I get good opportunities within SmartQ, I would love to be here. I would love to work with all the people here. So, yeah, let's see what happens.
Great. That answer had controversy written all over it, and we love that answer. Madhu started by saying, I'm open for opportunities. Long pause. Then he realized he's at SmartQ office at SmartQ with the people here. If you had any superpower, what would it be?
Vanish those questions.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Or specifically, vanished only the previous question.
No, if I, seriously speaking, if I had that, then I would build a genie
Genie, who could vanish the last question?
who could do whatever I say,
Okay.
which would have that question.
Oh, okay.
Which would,
So the top priority for the genie would be to vanish that last question and erase the memories from the people's mind. Okay. Would you rather be the funniest or the smartest person in the room?
funniest.
Yeah, we could see that with the answer you gave us. I'm sure. If you ever get a chance to settle in a country, which one would you choose?
Not Japan,
Except India, of course. We take that, yeah.
Scotland.
Scotland. Okay. Any reason?
I would because I have seen a lot of. I love environment. I love nature as a whole. I would love to be there within nature.
Yeah.
And I would love to. When I wake up, I should have all the greenery possible.
Oh, wow. This just shows how quickly Madhu learns from mistakes. His first answer, the answer which he was controversially giving us, has changed into a different, more polished Madhu-like answer. But I'm sure there's more reasons to why he wants Scotland. And since he's already revealed a lot of controversy, I think he's closed the shop on that. Did you look for any date when you visited cities or countries like Mumbai, UK, Japan?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I looked for a date, but I was not. I was not having. I did not get anyone. So I'm still waiting for that.
Story of every guy that we go through this journey of. We could have our own episode on the journey of how a guy looks out for a date, and then we could have multiple green teas on that. Who do you think is the funniest person in the office?
Ashwin was there, and now it would be Satish.
Satish. Satish. Wow. Okay. You're really hoping to hear my name, but all right.
Zakki's second is you.
Yeah. So okay, we'll take that. We'll have a discussion about that separately.
Sure.
What is the weirdest thing that you've ever eaten?
Oh. Recently, I had been to Japan. I had raw fish.
Sushi.
I had raw fish,
Okay,
just
raw
like
fish.
that. And also sushi with fish eggs. So that's the weirdest thing which I had.
Crazy. Wow. Interesting. Maybe I don't know if it'll ever be written in our Kismat or Naseeb to get to go to Japan and have it. But for time being,
I would recommend you to go to Japan sometime.
maybe on your next international excursion you can take me along.
Yes, why not?
Okay. From food, we come back to people. Who is your current crush?
At this moment, I don't have anyone. So let's see.
Okay. This movement kind of felt like there was an answer coming there, but he's made it sound like yesterday there was someone, but just for this moment right now, there's nobody. Okay.
Should be not.
What will be your response if your crush proposes to you in front of your colleagues?
I would say yes.
You say yes. Okay.
I would say yes. And it would be little embarrassing, but still people will understand.
People understand. Okay. If your future wife watches this video, what would you like to tell her?
Amazing question. Who is
Amazing.
this? Who was this? Who was this? I was actually telling you this morning itself.
Yeah. But the question isn't from me.
I would say all the best to see this complete video, because I know all the friends which I have here, so they would
Okay.
have asked all the weirdest questions possible,
Okay.
and I would say all the best
All the best to see this video.
to see this video.
I think he has another answer which he's not revealing, which is to tell his wife that I meant to say that Pattaya will happen before marriage, not after marriage. But I have said that, and do you agree with that answer, no?
No,
Okay. Amazing. This was so much fun. From the first segment when you saw Madhu in his shell, which slowly started coming out on camera, I think he's done a phenomenal job in this round of giving us the controversial answers that we look for and which we will use as teasers as much as possible and make everybody tune into his episode using this material we've got from this segment. Amazing, Madhu. This was fantastic. It was not easy, but you stood up and delivered yet again, like how you've been doing for SmartQ since the past 7.5 years. So a round of applause for Madhu.
thank you, Zakki. I was expecting more, but still.
Yeah. You still have a third segment where there's a lot more to come out. So your expectations will be a reality shortly.
Sure.
Continuing my conversation with Madhu on the 5th episode of Green Tea with Zakki, we finally landed on the third and the much awaited segment, which neither Madhu nor I have much clue about what's going to happen other than me knowing the rules of the game. So the name of the segment, Madhu, is called Guess Gone Wrong. Okay. So here we have questions and answers, both curated from the audience and from Madhu's close-knit community, where they have created questions with answers that we have to guess what that answer could be. And if we don't guess that answer right,
Audience,
we will meet the objective of this segment called Guess Gone Wrong, where we would have guessed wrong and we'll have to take a sip of either Karela juice, black coffee, lime juice without any sugar in it. So it's the bitter version of the lime juice. And if we do get the answer right, we can take a sip of the watermelon juice, a sip or two. Guys and audience, have you all got the understanding of this game and are you all excited? Yes. Madhu, are you excited?
yes.
That was the most forced fit yes Madhu will ever say in his life, but we'll still take that as a agreement to pursue and get forward with this segment. So we will start with a trial run, a trial question, which Manu has curated for us, working hard to bring this to life, which is not easy. So a round of applause to Manu Gowda as well to make this happen. So we will be beginning with a trial round or a trial question just so that we all are on the same page and Madhu knows the rules of the game and has no reason later to say that I didn't know the rules that you were talking about. So the first trial question is, Madhu, is this a trial question? And you have to guess what answers could be there.
You are also guessing it, right?
You guess once, I'll guess once, and then we'll see what happens. So Madhu, is this a trial question? What is your answer?
Yes, it is a trail.
So Madhu says, yes, it's a trial question. Let's see if this answer is on the board.
No.
It isn't a trial question. Madhu's answer was wrong and it's not on this guesses, which means you'll have to take a sip, not just now, but in the next, when the real questions start, you will have to take a sip when you get it wrong.
Okay.
So that means the audience has not opted for yes as an answer. So let me take my guess. I'm saying maybe. So I don't have to drink and looks like I'm an expert and a legend of this game already. So on that note, has everybody understood the rules of the game, and especially Madhu? You still seem to be puzzled? All sorted? Okay. So we'll be this, and for example, the second answer that the audience had put in is you are hallucinating. So these are the kind of quirky answers you can expect, of course, from this audience.
I would have never guessed it.
Exactly, and that is the whole agenda that was taken on a specific WhatsApp group to ensure that we both don't guess this. So when you think of your answers, think of it differently. And unless you want to really drink this Karela juice and have a bitter start to this segment. So let's, ready to get started?
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So we'll be starting. The first question on the screen. What does Madhu do when he wakes up? What is your answer? Think of answers that not you would get right, but what the audience would have planned for you. Your first guess, Madhu. It should be quick and fast so that we could.
Look at my phone.
His answer is look at his phone. Let's see if that answer is on the board or not. Wow. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Wow. Not bad. I think you've got the rules perfectly spot on and are able to get these answers right. It's turn for me to guess the legend of the game. I think he looks at. I think he. I think he. I think he scratches his head. Okay, going with that. I'm sure I'll have to take a sip. So, which means the legend of the game has to take a sip of one of these very, very bad drinks, bad tasting drinks. But before that, because Madhu got his answer right, he can take a sip of watermelon juice to celebrate his right answer. And I will take a sip of this to despair about my wrong answer. Cheers. Okay, so we have done with 2 guesses. We have 2 more guesses. So, what else do you think you would do when you wake up, as per what the audience would have planned?
I would go to washroom.
He said he would go to washroom. Let's see if this is on the board or not.
Oh.
Welcome to the Karela Club. Please have a sip.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it's turn for me to take a guess. I think Madhu would look at his calendar maybe and see if, let's see if that answer's on the board.
Oh. I would do that.
Yeah, but the audience doesn't think you would do that. The audience is trying to make sure we finish our Karela and the black coffee. So I'm going to take a sip of black coffee, which is not too bad. So we have exhausted our 4 guesses. Manu can reveal all the answers that the audience put together for this question. In order of 1, 2, 3, or 3, 2, 1, whichever way Manu wants to go at it. Talks replies to Joanna's mail. Okay, I got maybe close. Checks for possible Tinder matches.
Oh.
Checks for any escalations.
Yes.
Okay, that's an amazing first question, and I think we can move on to the second question now. Name an activity that Madhu might do at a sleepover.
Uno.
Uno. Okay, Madhu says Uno. Do we have that on the board?
No.
We're looking to see if. Please, a sip of black coffee. Or maybe even 2 sips.
It's really good.
Sorry, it's really good.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me take my guess. What would Madhu do at a sleepover? He would look. He would try to spike somebody's drink. He would try to spike somebody's drink. Let's see if that answers on the board. Okay, so I'm wrong again. Going to take a sip of lime juice. Okay, Madhu, you have another guess?
Next guess. I think they would have thought of some activity which is related to.
The audience is waiting for an answer, and so am I. So, what do you have for us?
Maybe
think from the audience's point of view who have set these questions.
I'd bring a lot of starters.
He says he'd bring a lot of starters. Is that answer on the board? That answer's not on the board. Another sip of Karela juice, please.
Okay, take
Lime juice, yes, go ahead. My guess is that maybe he would try to. Okay, if it was a SmartQ sleepover, maybe he would not try to hit on anybody because mostly they would be just boys in that. But I'm going to take a guess that maybe he try to strike a conversation with some girl he likes at that sleepover. That's my guess. So is that answer on the board? Oh, okay. So I can take my sip of watermelon juice to celebrate my right answer.
It was wrong.
A good conversation. Okay. So we are done with 2 questions. We have 2 more. Manu or me, you can reveal the rest of the answers from 4, 3, 2, 1. Call his brother who stays in UK. Okay. Gets lost. Get drunk. Okay. Cool. So moving to the 3rd question. Name an item Madhu might order at a party is the question. So Madhu, your first guess.
Lemon chicken?
Lemon chicken. Oh, that's very specific. Let's see if that's on the board. Lemon chicken. Checking for lemon chicken on the board.
Oh.
No, there's no lemon chicken. But for sure, there's some Karela juice. Oh, he's blowing at it like he's trying to visualize like he's drinking his favorite tea or something. But it is Karela juice itself. My guess is that he might order a pack of cigarettes, maybe.
I don't smoke.
Okay. I'm wrong as well, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so your second guess?
Peanut masala.
Peanut masala. Okay, is peanut masala on the board? Oh, amazing. That's the confidence which he said peanut masala and reached for the watermelon juice at the same time. Knew he was very confident about getting it right. Let's see if the same applies to me. Madhu might order at a party. Packet of he would.
Audience are waiting.
This round turned out to be tougher than expected. I would say he would order biryani. I'm taking a guess. Biryani. I'm really bad at this. From legend to loser.
We would need, we may need to go to a party once.
Yeah, we might need to understand. So we'll reveal the rest of the answers. Manu, go ahead. Mansion house. Okay. One more beer after the party. Okay. Mango pickle. Wow. Okay.
Mango pickle.
That's some specific stuff appearing on the screen. Cool. 3 questions done. Last question. Manu, you could roll it on the screen. What did Madhu do when he was in Japan? Interesting. So, Madhu?
Explored a lot of places.
So, Madhu says he explored, evolved and emerged in a lot of places. Let's see if that is there on the board or not. Manu? Site visits. This feels rigged at some point right now. He seems to be getting everything right. Okay, I'll take your watermelon juice first. My guess is that he went to a club and the type of club you all can leave it to your imagination. Okay, wrong again. Your second guess?
Eat lot of food.
Ate lot of food. Is that on the board? You can go for the.
I was just holding that.
He was holding it. Confidence. All right. My last guess is that he tried to figure out routes with the cab drivers and try to communicate and figure out stuff. Please tell me this is right. Oh my God.
I did that.
But the audience doesn't think so. So, okay, I'll go with black coffee. And that brings us to the end of the fourth question. We would love to see what's on the board. So, Manu,
Yes.
could you take us through that? Bullet train journey.
Oh yes, I did that.
Learn to use chopsticks.
Yes, I did. I did.
Check for Tinder match. You did that as well?
this. No.
Okay. Madhu didn't check for Tinder matches, but I'm sure there was some Japanese version of some dating app which he might have checked. Same thing. Potatoes, tomatoes, similar. All right. So that brings us to the last segment, which was Guess Gone Wrong. You seem to have got a lot of the questions right, the answers right. I seem to have gone wrong on most places. But it was amazing fun to have the sips of black coffee, Karela juice, lime juice, and have both of us on the spot at this interview. And I hope you enjoyed it as well as
Yes.
much as I did.
Yes, I did enjoy it. So let's have this watermelon juice.
To celebrate.
Celebrate art.
Amazing. So cheers to Madhu, everyone. It was a pleasure having him on the 5th episode of Green Tea with Zakki.
Before we end this session, Zakki,
Yeah.
tell me how was the experience interviewing me?
This is like twist after twist in controversy after controversy. Madhu has created today. So it's a pleasure interviewing everybody on this set, to be honest. Everybody brings a unique story, and it's an honor for me to drive the story forward in the direction that it should be given, the light and the weight that should be heard by people across our followers on social media or people who have joined new. So it's a privilege to take this through, and coming from you, from the first employee of SmartQ, to take that opportunity, and I hope I was able to deliver it in the way maybe you expected it to. Overall, it was a lot of fun, and you did a great job as well. So it was amazing, like with other interviewees that I have on the set.
Thank you so much, Zakki. It was really wonderful experience for me as well. And we did a lot of activities here.
Yeah.
And I hope all the people were having a lot of fun here. So thank
Yeah.
you so much for having me today.
Absolutely, it's our pleasure, and it's an honor, like I said. And on that note, I would like to gift you a hamper, a green tea hamper from us, and celebrate your success story at SmartQ. So thank you very much for doing this with us. Congratulations again.
Thank you so much.
And wish you a lot more success at SmartQ, and hope to have more fruitful conversations and strengthen our relationship much stronger. So with that note, we come to the end of the 5th episode of Green Tea with Zakki. It was great conversing with the first employee of SmartQ and understanding his journey, and also having a new segment that was introduced called Guess Gone Wrong, which was a lot of fun. And tribute and special mention to the marketing team and the rest of the people who organized this and made this happen. It's immense hard work that goes behind the set. So thank you all for putting this together. It's always a lot of fun doing this episode of Green Tea with Zakki. So thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, so that's it.